All right, it's time to talk about my surgery and my recovery so far. Hopefully this video can help anyone out that's looking at having rotator cuff surgery, in particular a slap tear, and the labrum is what is torn there. Now for me, I think they really undersold how painful the surgery and the recovery was going to be. I honestly was not expecting this. Granted, it did hurt before I had surgery, and they told me that the only way that I was going to go back and have a recovery and be able to overhead press and bench was to have the surgery. But oh my goodness, and maybe I'm just being a baby, but I normally don't take pain pills. The first day and the second day weren't too bad because I had the nerve block in. I couldn't feel my arm. I was having this battle of the wills trying to move my fingers, just move, and nothing. But the second day, the pills started to wear out. Now I made a video shortly after I got the second pill because the first pills were not doing it. It was 2 every 4 hours. The pain just kept ramping up. It felt like somebody was stabbing me. I called in and had to get a second prescription of a different painkiller that I took in between. So I would do 2 pills. 2 hours later I'd take another pill, and then 2 hours I'd go back to the 2 and just repeat that. I did that for about 5 days until it became manageable to just drop to 1 pill. So the pain was real and I was just out of my mind. If you watch that other video, my eyes are big and I'm kind of mumbling. Yeah, I was really out of it. So my surgery, it was a 1 to 10 tear, so a decent sized tear, and it started posterior and went anterior, slap tear. And they ended up putting in 3 anchors or screws, whatever you want to call those. And they told me there was a lot of scar tissue. And I figured that that would happen. I had injured my shoulder several times, and it caught doing anything. I couldn't do lateral raises because it would catch and pinch and hurt. And he did a lot of that. There was a bone spur. The bone spur, he thinks, is actually why I tore it. He thinks when I was throwing the keg up, the bone spur cut into the labrum and the muscle there and ripped that out. The good news is the supraspinatus, that tear, that's healed, even before the surgery. So they didn't need to do anything there, but they cut out a lot of scar tissue. So first week, 3 days in the sling, can't take it off. 4th day, could take off the sling to take a shower and to do some rehab of the elbow. So no moving the shoulder, but just some no-weight bicep curls to make sure the elbow didn't seize up, and then some wrist rotations. And that was it for the first 5 weeks. In the 5th week, I went to physical therapy for the first time. Now all they did was some very light stretching, didn't hurt me too bad, and figured out where I was. Now forward range of motion, I was at 41 degrees. So let's see if I can do this. That was about here. That's as far as I could go. So, almost nothing. And laterally, I had about 41, so about here. And posteriorly, I was at, I honestly don't remember, I want to say 30 or 40. So, didn't have any sort of range of motion. We were working on that. In rehab, they had a pulley set up. So you'd grab the pulley with one arm, and then you would pull it down, which would raise your other arm, and you'd go as far as you could. When I first started rehab, this was my range of motion, as far as I could, pulling. And it hurt. It hurt a lot. I'm not going to lie, this was a very painful process. Now, the good news is those of you who are worried about scarring, really, you can't see the scars. I mean, that's one of the incisions right there. That's it. So there were 3 incisions, one on the front, one on the side, and one on the back. Very minimal scarring. So that's nice. Now going into rehab where it gets hard. The flexibility is the hardest thing for me, and I'm pretty sure based on conversations with the physical therapist and the surgeon, that is common for most people. I'm still having a lot of hard times rotating the arm this way. I mean, you can see that. I've been going to rehab now for 4.5 weeks, and minus some problems with insurance. And that's as far as I can go. Now the good news is forward, right here is where the pain starts. and I can go a little bit further. So I can almost get my arm to a position to be in an overhead press. Laterally, this is where the pain starts, and it hurts pretty decent. And then I can force it through the pain to about here. So there's still some room to go there. I cannot reach behind my back. Now that's something, if you're gonna have the surgery, you might wanna practice going to the bathroom and putting on clothes, doing your belt with your other arm. So for me, it was my left arm. I still have to use my left arm for a lot of those things. Now granted, now I can do my belt up and stuff. But like I said, I can't reach behind me. So you know what that means. And I will make another video going into my actual rehab exercises, what I'm doing right now. But I just want to talk about those things. For me, the biggest challenge is going to be the flexibility, gaining that back and getting it to a point without pain. Now, granted, I've improved the range of motion so the pain kicks in later. But what happens, again, I'm not a doctor, so this is just talking to the surgeon and the physical therapist. I guess the capsule of your shoulder after surgery, because they keep you immobilized in that sling, it tightens up really hard. And there's a lot of nerve bundles in there, and because it's so tight, now you're trying to force it to stretch back out, and that causes an extreme amount of pain. And it's in everything. I mean, you would be amazed how much you use your arm without even thinking about it. I mean, I can't even lay down yet on my right side. I do have some problems laying on my stomach. I'm still sleeping on the couch sitting up because it still hurts. And this is, again, 10 weeks later. Now it's significantly better. You know, I can move down here and no pain. That's nice, but still have a long way to go. The good news for those of you who watch me and compete and for the lifting side, last week I got the all clear from the physical therapist, and the week before I got the all clear from the surgeon that I am good to start doing static strength of the lower body where I can hold the weight. So that means I can go back to doing leg presses, which I couldn't do because you couldn't hold on to the handle. I can go back to doing deadlifts. I was told to start very light, so I started this week with axle deadlift. Might as well get some grip work in because I haven't been able to do that at 105. So really light. And leg press, I just did a couple of sets at 400. So, you know, we'll work back up. I don't want to rush it too hard. And this week, the physical therapist gave me the okay to start doing weight on rows, to start doing some kickbacks. Can't do any like skull crushers or things like that yet because that's still going to put a little bit of effort on the shoulder when you're getting up in that position here. But I also started doing incline bench with dumbbells. Now I'm only doing that at physical therapy right now. I don't want to jump into doing that at home yet, but that was nice to see. The bottom of the incline press, oh my goodness, that hurts. And like I said, you could just tell I'm in a lot of pain. I am upping the weights on everything, doing a lot of band work, doing as much stretching as I can, and I'm really happy with where the strength is. Really, I haven't lost anything. Now I've lost size. That is one thing you need to expect. The atrophy is real. My right shoulder and the right bicep in particular just atrophied like crazy. It's coming back pretty fast. That was another thing I got the okay to start doing is some bicep curls. I wasn't doing a lot of those to begin with, but I do feel like I'm not going to be coming back in a very weak position. This week I'm going to be doing squats with the safety squat bar. I still can't get my arm back. I mean, I can move it over here. Yeah, so my arm's got to be, you know, behind my shoulder to get a straight bar, and that's where I'm at. So safety squat bar is it for me, and I'm going to try that this week, see how that goes. And hopefully I haven't lost a whole lot. You know, ambitious, I'm going to try and get up to 335 with a safety squat bar and do some reps with that. We'll see if I can get there. If you have any other questions about the surgery or the recovery, please let me know. As I said, I will make another video when I go through and do rehab at home. I'm not going to try and get a camera into the physical therapy place. And always, go lift something heavy.